One of the most asked questions by people learning DevOps is, how much programming do I need to know? Or what programming languages should I learn for DevOps? So in this video, I will explain you how much coding is actually needed in DevOps, what languages are useful, and also tell you where you will use these programming languages in your DevOps role. So let's get started. Some of you might be confused if you need to be a developer to do DevOps tasks. The answer is no, because in DevOps we don't create front-end UIs or complex backend. Instead, as a DevOps engineer, you will be automating the software delivery process, managing infrastructure, and making sure everything is running smoothly. So in DevOps, you will use programming languages to automate repetitive tasks like provisioning servers, installing application, also deploying code to production without any manual step, creating infrastructure using code, creating CICD pipelines. So yes, as a DevOps engineer, you will have to write code, but it's not like being a software engineer where you create the entire application. It will be task-specific scripting and automation. So understand that coding in DevOps is going to be used to connect different tools, speed up process, but not to create the entire application. This means coding is required in DevOps, but let me tell you how much programming knowledge is enough for you as a DevOps engineer. You don't need to be a software engineer, but you should be comfortable with writing scripts to automate common tasks that you do every day. You should also be able to understand the code snippets and logs whenever there's an issue, so you can easily troubleshoot or modify different kind of codes, which could be pipeline code, configuration code, or infrastructure code. Lastly, as a DevOps engineer, you will also be working with different APIs and different third-party tools, so you need to understand how APIs work and how to use them. Here is an example. So let's say you have an application which is a microservices application, and you deploy a Docker container on AWS. Whenever a developer makes a change to this Docker container, you want to automate the process to automatically pull the image, push the image, and deploy the application. So to do this, you will use Python to create a script, or you might use a CICD tool like GitHub Actions. For Python, you need Python programming language knowledge, and for CICD tool, you will need to have YAML programming language knowledge. So let's understand what are most common programming languages used in DevOps. So the most common languages include different languages starting with Bash or shell scripting. So Bash is the language that is used in Linux systems to automate different tasks. So you can see Bash is your go-to language when working on Linux systems. You can use Bash or shell scripting for bootstrap scripts or startup scripts for your EC2 or cloud servers. You can also create Bash scripts to automate your backups for your databases, Bash scripts to create cron jobs to do scheduled tasks, and also for performing log files cleanup or monitoring. Here's an example of using Bash script to automate server updates or restart a service if it crashes. Another most used programming language in DevOps is Python. So Python is the most beginner friendly and powerful scripting language, and we use it in DevOps to write automation tools and scripts. We also use it to talk to different cloud providers like AWS, Azure, GCP. In AWS, you can use Python using the Boto3 module. So using Boto3, you can talk to AWS using Python programming language. You can use Python to create Lambda functions in the cloud or other serverless code. Additionally, if you want to create a tool in your own internal company, you can use Python to create internal CLI tool or dashboard. Here's an example of how you can use Python script to detect unused EC2 instances and shut them down to save cost in your AWS. Similarly, you can also automate different types of tasks. Maybe you are changing password for your databases and you want to automate this process. You can use Python for it, or you can use Bash as well. Along with this, there's also YAML and JSON. YAML and JSON are two different languages that we use a lot in DevOps. So I haven't mentioned JSON here, but JSON is also another language that we use a lot. So YAML is used generally for Kubernetes manifest file to create deployment, service, ingress, etc. It is also used with other DevOps tools like GitHub Actions, GitLab CI/CD, Ansible Playbook, and to create or define Terraform modules. Whereas JSON is also similarly used to create IAM policies. All the data that is stored in DevOps tools are generally stored in JSON language. So it's very important for you to understand YAML and JSON as well, which might not be a programming language, but they are used in DevOps everywhere. So YAML is like a language of DevOps tools. You must understand how to write and debug it. Example could be defining how your application should run inside a Kubernetes cluster by defining deployment manifest in YAML language. Lastly, Golang is another very much used programming language in DevOps. If you are someone who's trying to learn programming language for DevOps, you should consider Golang, because every new DevOps tool that we look at, let's say Kubernetes, Terraform, Docker, all of them are created in Golang. So Golang use cases could be contributing to open source DevOps tools, because mostly all these DevOps tools are created in Golang. You can also use Golang to create custom Kubernetes operator. You can use Golang to create fast CLI tools or exporters for Prometheus. So example of using Golang is, if you want to build a new plugin for Terraform or modify Kubernetes internals, Golang is the language that you can use. Okay, so far I've given you different examples of how programming languages are used in DevOps, but let's look at some more real DevOps use cases where you will have to write code. So you will have to write bash script to restart a crashed application or a server. You might be asked to create a Python script to upload logs to S3 or trigger a Jenkins job. Generally, something that you do every day can be automated through script. You can also be asked to create Kubernetes manifest file using YAML language. So write YAML for Kubernetes deployment or GitHub Actions workflow. You might be asked to contribute to a Go patch to open source DevOps tool like Helm. So you need to know Golang language for that. And maybe if you are someone who knows Node.js language, you might be asked to use Node.js to write an alert handler that send messages to Slack channel. So lastly, understand that programming in DevOps is used to automate repetitive tasks. It is used to debug and modify existing scripts. And you should know programming languages to understand how these DevOps tools work behind the scenes. Also, programming languages is used to glue together all the different API scripts and configuration files. So in a nutshell, you will be using programming languages not to build the product, but you will be using it to build the pipeline that delivers the product. So as a DevOps engineer, you use programming languages not to create the application, but to automate the process of building, configuring, and managing it. I hope this makes sense. Alright, so this was our video to help you understand how much coding is required in DevOps. I hope this video was informative. If you have any questions, any doubt, feel free to let me know in the comment section. And if you found this video helpful, please like this video and subscribe to CloudChamp. Thank you.